Good morning and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast Show. We are your usual hosts who love you the most, Shalom Kalimbola and hi, Patrick Soko. Together we'll be with you up the hour of 9. And as usual, it's governance, politics and policy.
Indeed, a number of things have happened in the country, at least in the last. And we are here to unpack some of those interesting items. Of course, we will look at the money markets and see how the kwacha is faring against other major convertibles. We'll look at how the health sector is faring as well through the health corner, so that you and I can be advised on how to live in certain areas and certain kinds of illnesses. For now, though, let's go straight into the morning boost and flex our muscles. Good morning.
Hello. It's your boy Harrison, aka the Fitness Puppy, and I'm saying happy festival season to you. And we are here again at Chon's Fitness Gym in Kablonga in conjunction with the Camnet TV. And guys, today I am going to take you in two variations of deadlift. Apparently we have 3 variations of deadlift. So now here you can just perform 2 types of deadlift. Okay, so first I'm going to start with this usual one, the conventional one, like the most popular. So this one, I'm sure in my previous video you saw it. Chin part of your body, the chin body has to be close to the bar. Then your hands are outside the legs, then you hold it nicely, then pull it up. And then as usual, the ending part is the core as well as the glutes. So this is the conventional type of deadlifts. Okay. So this was the conventional type of deadlift. So I'm going to show you another one. So this one is called the sumo deadlift. So the sumo deadlift, stand wide, then instead of your arms to be outside the legs, now they are inside the legs. And the conventional one, you are going to pull down the bar using your back. So now this one, you are using your legs. So it's more like a squat. So you bend all the way. Then so remember, when you go up, the chest has to be out. Oh, that's all for today. You've been with me, Harrison, aka the Fitness Puppy. Remember, it's about your health, and we're here at Chon's Fitness Gym in Kablonga. Say bye-bye. Health, and we're here.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Camnet Breakfast Show. That was our first segment we call the Morning Boost. That helps us to do the drills in terms of exercise, to do it correctly with the fitness puppy there. Quite an interesting name, which excites Sharon.
It excites me. I don't know if it's the puppy part, but the whole thing, like the fitness puppy, just makes me get excited and looking forward to him giving us these drills every morning. And he also reminds the people that, remember, it's about your health. It's not about you being entertained or what. It's about your health. And these are just like 5 minutes workouts, Patrick. So even if you're very busy, you know, just take those 5 minutes workout. I know somebody that does road runs for like an hour or so, like every day, and this person is way older, but they've made it a lifestyle. So when you start now, Patrick, I'm speaking to you right now. Can you say amen? Please do that.
Amen. But I do
very
that.
Doubtful.
But I do
very doubtful. Amen. Do you even know what amen means? Let it be so. So really, you're doubting me. But I'm telling you, indeed, Patrick, start exercising right now, so that when you reach that age, you won't have a challenge to continue. Otherwise, otherwise, let's look at the health corner.
Hi, good morning and welcome to the Health Corner here on the Breakfast Show. I am Dr. Nakubia Namfaya, and this week we are talking about prostate cancer. Yesterday we talked about some of the types of prostate cancer, and we say that there are two major types which people would normally have, and that's adenocarcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma. Then we also highlighted some of the risk factors of people that have prostate cancer. So people who are likely to have prostate cancer are those that have a family history, a very strong family history of prostate cancer, or even other types of cancers like breast cancer. So the other thing is people who are aged 65 years and above are also likely to develop prostate cancer. And also, if you are not taking a good diet or being inactive and have obesity or overweight, you are also at risk of having prostate cancer. So today we'll talk about some of the signs and symptoms that you need to look out for you to say that you need to get checked for prostate cancer. So one of the signs is that you have urinary problems. So you might have urgency, which is where you want to urinate, but when you go to the toilet to urinate, you find that there is no urine coming out, or there's just a bit of urine coming out. The other thing is that you might have a weak stream when you go to urinate. So instead of the urine coming out the way it usually comes out with force, you might find that the stream of the urine is very weak and it's slow. So with those symptoms, you might also see that your urine has blood in it. So you might have what we call hematuria. That's urine which has blood. So those are some of the symptoms that you might have when you have prostate cancer. However, these symptoms are not specific to people who only have prostate cancer. There are other conditions that affect the prostate that can also cause someone to have some of these symptoms, including benign prostate hyperplasia, where the prostate is growing in size, but it's not a cancer. So it's not cancerous, but it's just growing in size. So that's a different condition, and the management for that is different. But also it could also be other bacterial infections, even TB, tuberculosis, can cause the prostate to grow in size. And so it's important that you get checked and screened for different conditions that might affect the prostate. So for cancer, there are some signs that someone can have that can also show that this is cancer. And these include back pain. So they might have back pain because of where the prostate is located. it's located somewhere very close to the back. So they might have back pain, and they might also have other symptoms like weight loss. They might be losing weight more than usual or more than normal. So you might find somebody is losing so much weight and you don't know why. So you need to screen them for prostate cancer. The other thing is they might have fatigue, mostly because of the cancer itself and also it affecting other parts of the body. So they might have fatigue as well. So these are some of the symptoms or signs that see in somebody that has prostate cancer. And like I've said, some of these things are not very specific to prostate cancer only, so it's important that you get checked for you to be able to ascertain whether it's a cancer or it's just another condition. So today we are learning that prostate cancer can have symptoms such as urinary problems, like not urinating well. When you go to the toilet, you find that your urine is not coming out the way it usually does, or sometimes you feel like you want to urinate, but the urine is not coming. And other times you feel like the urge to urinate comes more frequently than other times than usual. So you might be frequenting the bathroom more frequently than you usually do because of the same prostate cancer that is affecting the prostate. Then the other thing that we've learned is that you might have other signs like weight loss and fatigue, and also you might experience back pain if you have prostate cancer. So it's important for you to get checked for prostate cancer, and tomorrow we're going to talk about how prostate cancer is screened in the hospital and some of the treatment options that are there for people who have prostate cancer. So thank you so much for watching.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast. In case you are just joining us, you haven't missed much. You've missed 2 segments, but you can still catch up via our social media platforms by winding up the clock, and you'll be able to see where we started from. The doctors there, we're talking about prostate cancer, Patrick, and it affects males.
Yes.
And you may wish to know, Patrick, that she mentioned to say it usually occurs in those that have a strong family history of prostate cancer. So you need to start thinking, start winding up. If your family has had people that probably have had prostate cancer, you constantly have to go for checkups and see how you are going. And also those that are above about 65 years are more prone to having prostate cancer. So yeah, B-Mark there upstairs, you're almost 65. Please start going for these usual checkups and see that you are safe.
I think Teresa will be happy that you are making the young man become the old man, but we leave it there. But now listen. An interesting part about this issue, Sharon, is that actually at 40s, especially for men, you need to take an interest.
Yes.
To start going for prostate
constant checkup. Yes.
There's an organization I know of that continues to provide these services for free in terms of screening. So, and for men, it's not a complicated process. I was told it's just simple. So you just have to go and get checked. You know, there's that thing where people usually get reluctant, especially when it comes to the issues of checking their private parts. Even when cervical cancer was starting, cervical cancer screening, people were skeptical about, what are they going to be? How is this operation conducted? But you know what? With time, people appreciated that the process is actually not as bad as they think. And people, for women, they have done a tremendous job in terms of cervical cancer screening. And we have seen that as a country, we have equally made progress in terms of addressing cervical cancer. So if, as men, we are reluctant,
energy can be transferred to males, it would be a plus.
Yes, because for the female part, in the first place, that the services started, especially on a free basis.
Yes.
But it took some time for us to be accessing prostate cancer screening for free and easily. But now there are these organizations that are helping us to be able to get these services free, and the Ministry of Health equally is doing that. We've seen there's sometimes organizations will organize cervical cancer screening month, a week.
Yes,
so take advantage of those. You can go and get checked, especially if you are more sexually active at the age of 35, 40. You need to make sure that you get checked, because when you are proactive, it's easy to manage the disease. But if it is detected at a later stage,
then
that
it becomes
a problem.
an issue.
Yeah.
Indeed, Patrick, very passionate about this, because I know it concerns you. So yeah, you heard what the doctors say. Let's look at how the kwacha is faring and see if we can change those dollars. All right, so the United States dollars is buying at 18 kwacha 86 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 23 ngwe. The euro is at 20 kwacha 49 ngwe and selling at 20 kwacha 89 ngwe. The South African rand is at 1 kwacha 08 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 10 ngwe. The Great British Pound is at 23 kwacha 24 ngwe and selling at 23 kwacha 70 ngwe. Those are your money markets today, the 1st of February 2023, the month of love. Patrick, show some love to the girl here.
Interesting.
Show some love.
Love in the air.
Love in
Valentine's
the air.
is coming.
Where's your boyfriend?
I don't know if you even
You
have
are
a
so
boyfriend.
lonely.
Now, let's look at.
Why should I be lonely?
Yeah, you can't be lonely.
No, I can't.
Yeah, we'll keep you company.
Right.
And an interesting aspect is that as you were going through the money market, I think we are at 18, and it is the buying aspect is also going towards 19, because selling is already at 19 kwacha. So now, if the kwacha continue to depreciate, it means that
we're in trouble.
We are in trouble, because we are already in trouble. If you check the fuel pump price as revised by the Energy Regulation Board, it equally indicates that we are not safe at all. I think you have that. We can start with that story by zooming in the aspect. Those are the consequences of the kwacha depreciation. Indeed,
the Energy Regulation Board of Zambia has adjusted upwards the fuel pump prices for the month of February 2023, effective midnight. ARB Board Chairperson Reynold Walia says petrol has been increased by 2 kwacha 73 ngwe per litre from to 27 kwacha 22 ngwe, while diesel has been increased by 2 kwacha 81 ngwe to 29 kwacha 25 ngwe. Let's look at this.
Petrol is currently at 24 kwacha 49 ngwe. It shall now be 27 kwacha 22 ngwe, an absolute increase of 2 kwacha 73 ngwe, representing 11.15% increase. Low sulfur diesel is currently at 26 kwacha 44 ngwe. The new price will be 29 kwacha 25 ngwe, an absolute variance of 2 kwacha 81 ngwe, an increase of 10.63%. The current price for kerosene is 19 kwacha 98 ngwe. It shall now be 22 kwacha 29 ngwe, an increase of 2 kwacha 32 ngwe, representing 11.61% increase. Jet A1 at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport is currently at 22 kwacha 63 ngwe. It shall now be 25 kwacha 34 ngwe, an increase of 2 kwacha 71 ngwe, representing 11.9% increase. These prices take effect at midnight tonight.
That's Mr. Reynolds Walia there, ERB board chairperson. And when I say ERB board chairperson, I'm repeating, huh? Yeah, because the board is already on ERB.
But you didn't mention ERB. It's okay.
Did I?
Yes.
Oh, okay, yes. So giving us the stats as usual, the last day of each month, the Energy Regulation Board give us the update on the fuel pump prices either to maintain, reduce, or adjust upwards. And like yesterday, they have adjusted upwards by an average, Patrick, so called close to 3 kwacha.
Yes.
If we were to round off, I think the only thing I understood very well in math is that when it's about 0.5, it's already a main figure. So when this adjustment is about 2.73 ngwe, for me it's already 3 kwacha.
Yeah,
that's what
right.
I understand.
Yeah.
So you, the viewers, can call us and have a conversation with us on this. We have spoken times with our number about the monthly adjustments. We've spoken to different stakeholders, and you people have talked about this, but clearly government is stuck and knows what they are doing according to them. But is this reflective prices serving a purpose to us as ordinary people, Patrick?
Yeah, interesting. I think this has been a problem because it is also coming on account of the International Monetary Fund bailout package the Zambian government is implementing, that is equally having a negative toll on the Zambian economy. This is given that there is the aspect of removing subsidies, and the subsidies among areas that were prioritized was the fuel sector. Now, looking at that sector, Sharon, it is problematic in that it is a sector that aids the economy. So you find that any sharp increase in the price of the commodity tends to reflect in the high commodity prices, and that's where we are as a country. And if others were of the view that if we were revising on a quarterly basis, even perhaps on a 3 months basis, it would have been better, considering that it would enable you to plan. But the only way to do that is through having bulk reserves. You need to have reserves. I know that the Zambian government in the past invested in huge reserves. We were running a story about the Tazama reserves there, and that's in the light industrial area, where they are no longer, the trucks are no longer offloading fuel from there. They're just going direct to the last user, and that's the fueling stations. Now, that has a consequence on its own, in that in those reserves, we're not reserving anything. We see, we don't even have, probably where we stand, we don't have a reserve of a month cover of fuel. So in an event there is a catastrophe where we are getting this fuel, we may be hit by a crisis. If you look at countries like the United States, they have huge oil reserves, such that they are not affected at any instantly by any changes, because they are able to go to their reserves and be able to stabilize the economy.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Thank you. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm calling from
Yes.
Yes, I'm George.
You are?
George.
Okay, go ahead with your contribution.
On so fuel. I was a grandmother.
Yes.
And my parents and the village, they are paying taxes, which you want those taxes to be subsidized for fuel. Meanwhile, my grandparents do not benefit from those possible which people are using. You bought your own vehicle, you want to go and buy with the fuel, using the subsidy of my mother, it's not fair. Those who have bought vehicle, let them spend their money buying fuel for their vehicle. Not using Mama Papa take the village to subsidize for this. It's very, very unfair. One. Two, my mother in the village, she's waking up in the morning to go and do the family. Then you people who are in the street today, you want to buy maize from my mother, who is suffering the village. You are crying to the morning, you are not, but you are doing nothing in the street. Now you are be cooperative with them. Don't you are getting the data from the government, but you have no pump. You are getting the supply and sending it to water. If you come back and June, where they are doing their money, and whom they are employed to prepare free food for them. Even the government has the farmer who is used to put free meals for people who don't need the street. It's unfair, you journalists, because you're asking people who are doing nothing, who knows nothing, who are only stealing it out. They are the people who are parading. What are you doing with yourself? To produce maize. Because you can produce your own maize in no one is prepared to create maize for you. Who is just doing nothing without? Help us journalists. We live for make maize. And those who are trying to cure it, he has no vehicle. But he pays tax for someone who has the vehicle. So this person has the vehicle is enjoying free fuel on my taxes, who has me has no vehicle. It's unfair. Tell all the people the truth. They can buy their own fuel. You produce your own maize. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Lengthy
contribution. We appreciate that. You two out there can call us and have a conversation with us. Give us your perspective. The millimil prices have gone bizarre. They've reduced for about 20-15 kwacha in some stores, like the story I'm about to read, which the Boram Shala did. But then other stakeholders say the margin is way too small in terms of reduction. It hasn't really impacted them much. So let's look at this story. Millimil prices for a 25 kg bag of breakfast have dropped by an average of 20 kwacha in most chain stores, selling at 177 kwacha and 178 kwacha in some stores from 200 kwacha last week. However, some Lusaka residents spoken to by Camnet TV have rubbished the reduction, stating that it is a drop in the ocean compared to the average price of 135 kwacha that they were buying the same commodity during the Patriotic Front administration. Let's look at this story. We couple it with the story for the kwacha. Let's look at these stories all together, Patrick. The fuel, the millimil, and how the kwacha is faring. I think they speak at the same thing.
Yes, they do.
The increase in commodity prices. Let's look at the story for price reduction.
With reports that citizens in places like Mwandi and Shangombo district of Western Province were buying a 25 kg bag of breakfast millimil at 280 kwacha as well as 300 kwacha and 200 kwacha for those in urban areas, a public outcry arose across the country last week as millimil, which is one of the most essential commodities in Zambia, was out of reach for many citizens. This prompted an emergency press briefing on 25th January 2023 held by Ministry of Information and Media Director spokesperson Tabo Kawana, attributing the high prices to the closing of maize sales by the Food Reserve Agency FRA, which had left millers with no option but to buy from traders who had bought from FRA and were taking advantage of being the sole providers, hence selling it at an exorbitant price. Mr. Kawana indicated that government had however directed FRA to reopen maize sales to millers only and sell directly to citizens in far-flung areas. The director spokesperson further indicated that once FRA reopened sales, a price reduction was guaranteed within a space of 1 or 2 weeks. 1 week down the line, a check by Camnet News in some chain stores across Lusaka has revealed that millimil prices have reduced from 200 kwacha and are now selling in the 170 kwacha to 180 kwacha range, representing an average reduction of about 20 kwacha. This has, however, not been well received by some Lusaka residents who say they bought the same commodity at an all-time high of about 135 kwacha during the former ruling Patriotic Front administration.
The prices of millimil, no, it's not fair to the citizens of the country. Regarding what they said last week, they said that at least the prices of millimil will reduce. But looking at yesterday and today in ShopLite. Maybe they have reduced with maybe a minimum of just a 15 kwacha. I don't know if it's 20 kwacha or 15 kwacha, of which in ShopLite it's now selling at 185, 175, somewhere there. So at least we can appeal to the government if they can reduce the price of meal at least to 115 or 120.
Tidanda pa unga boma mchangane kwa sama marketia zipano tugulisa tobwa tikangwa nogula kukoda saka pata kudate ngoda so atipempa kwa kuti unga ufikako pali 115 or 120 at least zambo kwani sako isi azimuna sasebenza tigulisa mame muli tobwa muna munkoyo so medapa fika 45 na 40 kwacha
unga funinga che ubwerere munga mwenze lidi kudala funinga che ufike che mazali no timwe ili hapa hivi ya chiramu drama pano ese none mtolekera dibe chito dibe.
Others state that this has made them reduce the number of meals they eat as a family, stating that they now buy mini meal in small quantities.
Vantu vavutika mu community and even price ya unga makamba chita reduced sina chita reduce no mufunika tigula breakfast pa 100 kwacha or 80 kwacha because meal stizili mira teka
ka 25 kg tikagula kulingana na bana bamene tili nawo tumazinga chabe 2 weeks ka 25 kg kasira manje ndrama futi sizioneka kugulisa tigulisa ndrama sizioneka a president takondani mwatichosera kwa chabe ma school bana but manga kudya simunatichitemushe vandani vaediga vezotisunga mushe manga kunkania kudya setifuna kudya ndiye umoyo.
They have challenged the current administration to ensure that this commodity is reduced as it is the country's staple food, stating that Zambia should be able to enjoy cheap meal prices as it even supplies neighboring countries with this commodity. Zipora Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Revenue points where we know that, okay, the dollar is coming to the market. What we have right now is very limited and thin supply of dollar on the market. That's the reason why we are having kwacha having that effect of losing, because the dollar is on high demand, the supply is low. So that is what is actually there as a strong imbalance in the exchange market. Yes. So when you see the kwacha behaving the way it's behaving, where we have some nominal losses, meaning that they don't on the market. Now, coming up with the model where we're going to now start buying electricity from Mozambique, this brings a different distortion to the market. And with this standing in place, obviously you are going to have an offsetting balance because we're going to increase production and we're going to mitigate the effect of load shedding. So all this putting together, I think there's a need for us to see how best we can create a model in which we can sustain our inflow when it comes to the dollar on the market, expanding the local market. Because this is quite worrisome. If we're not careful with the model that we're trying to embrace, where we want to buy much of these things outside, using the dollar as a common carrier, it becomes a very challenging factor in this case. So I think it's ideological to say that there's a need for us to look at a model that should be able to be sustained, especially when it comes to power supply. Power deficit is something that is standing as a very bad potential risk to our growth pattern as we speak this year.
There you have it. Those are the stories we had in the main news at 1930 on Camnet TV, and we are zooming in some of them on the breakfast show this morning. Quite interesting stories coming, especially on the topic of the minimum prices, the price of fuel, and the kwacha. Like you said, they are all related. They are compounding the economic challenges that Zambia is facing. Well, like our previous gave his opinion, you understand that Camnet TV is a hub of opinions in that we respect everyone's opinion. Exactly. Every opinion counts. We look beyond the political lines. We are loyal to Zambians. Indeed. And we have to make sure that we give information as people want to give it. And talking about this other aspect, it brings me to what we were discussing of the camera, Sharon, where it is quite interesting to say that only those who are the vehicle, like Elas Chilera, should be concerned about the fuel price. But others would also argue to say it is not possible in that you need to this price of fuel is affecting everyone.
It's cross-cutting. Let's use that word.
Yes.
It's cross-cutting because the prices of fuel have got direct correlation to increase in commodity prices due to the manufacturing sector being directly linked to fuel as well. So you cannot say because me I don't have a car, because me I don't have this, because BMAC has a train, I have a Vitz, you know, BMAC has a big car. I don't think it works like that. Let's speak this call, Patrick.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fine, are you, madam?
Good, thanks. Go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah, I think I sympathize with the majority of the people who are being contributing to this program. The cost of living has become a bit high, and I believe people go to vote in a new government in order for their lives to be improved and to lead better lives. For the government to reduce the cost of living. That's why people vote. Especially the poor, food is the most important thing. I would rather the government, when started subsidizing food, especially minimum, because it is the mainstay of food. The majority of people cannot even afford not breakfast. The other meal is what?
Roller meal.
People should be resourced to buy.
Yes.
Roller meal.
It's also very expensive. So I think the government has the responsibility to just subsidize for now until they embark on a very rigorous program of producing food. Like Zimbabwe, I was very impressed with the statement which was given by President Mnangagwa at the conference in Senegal. It says their food self-sufficient now. In terms of grain, they are self-sufficient. They are able to produce 2 million tons of grain. They are also able to produce wheat. They are able to produce fertilizers. If we go that route, I think the citizens will be happy if the cost of fuel, went raised high. The majority of people will be still happy with the government. But the food is the most important thing in the life of most of the citizens. Yes.
We didn't get your name.
What I wanted to contribute, the main aim is to ask government, to request government. We are down on our knees. Let government subsidize food stamps.
Okay.
Food stamps is the mainstay of most of the people. Sure, they may go ahead with these austerity measures, but food should not be touched.
Okay. We didn't get your name.
Causes most people to get this grant with very. Thank you very much.
We didn't get your name, sir.
My name is Robert.
Robert from.
I'm calling from Solwezi.
Okay.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for
so
coming,
much,
sir.
Mr. Roberts, calling from Solwezi there, representing. You too can have a say on this important conversation we're having this morning. You may not be directly affected, but somehow you are affected by the increase in price commodities, fuel prices that we were talking about, Patrick.
Yes, you did bring out quite an interesting aspect of the manufacturing sector.
Yes.
So even meal is part of the manufacturing process.
Exactly.
So if the manufacturing, the cost of production is high, it tends to affect the manufacturing sector, and they translate they transfer the cost to the consumers, and that tends to affect their ability to purchase most of the commodities. So we may also find ourselves in a kind of inflation where we have no money, but there are more goods in the economy. So let's get this call. We get their perspective on the topic of discussion.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
My name is Mrs. Mchindu.
Yes, Mr. Mchindu.
Where are you calling us from?
Ndora, Mutowe.
All right, you can go ahead for contribution.
Nachata for Paya so they wait and they show. Hey, Papa, who am the free air go well. So sure, we have where. You think like that, so the kids have where. And if you're able, but then to come out that time. We have to send a mapa as well. Who's taking shows and if you're able. Our Chanda shows I go to the Papa, but what we I don't know if for few able to each of the same
Thank you very much for
Bandola representing there, and they never miss a chance to speak their mind.
Yeah, and like you said, you know, we are a pool of opinions, and quite another opinion is coming in there. And if you ask for my unsolicited opinion, Sharon, is that she said what she said is also making sense. Yeah. In that if you look at the prices. Fuel is a loophole effect in any sector.
Everywhere.
Every sector is affected by fuel. So even the meal price we are experiencing this the high meal price we are facing this time around is partly affected by the issue of fuel. We may not have a vehicle at individual level, but we get on public buses.
Yes.
So if you go to at intercity routes. Coming from Copper Belt to Lusaka, the fares will be increased. If you are within local routes, the fares will equally be increased. But that who has to pay the price? It is the consumer. So at the end of the day, you discover that these things are interconnected, like you put it. The kwacha depreciation, the high electricity price, everything tends to consequently affect the economy, and that's where we are at the moment. So like others are suggesting that when we are implementing these austerity measures, probably food should remain cheaper. People should be able to have 3 meals a day and be able to survive, because at the end of the day you cannot govern a country that has no people in it. So we are looking at diverse aspects of this issue. The fuel price is the issue of fuel prices is topical, but interestingly also we saw government reduce the license fees for domestic and local courier services by 50% from 10,000 kwacha to 5,000 kwacha to aid the growth of the sector. So we are going to zoom in this story, and we'll be back on the other side with our guest who's going to help us deliberate on the topic of discussion. Keep it on Camnet TV, our dear viewers.
Postal and courier services are an important part of Zambia's small-medium enterprise sector, as they cater for a huge chunk of the informal sector. Challenges, however, have been faced in the postal service sector, such as high cost of licensing fees and less security on the deliverer. Minister of Science and Technology Felix Mutati Tuesday 31st January 2023 reduced licensing fees for domestic and local courier services by 50% from 10,000 kwacha to 5,000 kwacha to aid the growth of the sector.
In the postal sector, there were a number of issues that we were confronted with, and one of the greatest barriers that we had in the postal sector, in particular domestic and local courier services, was the barrier of the license fee. Consequently, you had a lot of informal services being delivered. So we confronted this issue, and today we are going to reduce the fee required by 50% from 10,000 kwacha to 5,000 kwacha.
During the signing of the statutory instrument, Mr. Mtati explains that the government is committed to the development of the postal sector in order to create an enabling environment and jobs for the Zambian people.
We are providing an unprecedented opportunity for business expansion in the courier services, both international and local, including yours truly, e-government. So the courier service will never be the same again. In terms of job creation,
in terms of business expansion, in terms of delivering customer confidence, in terms of security of delivery, it will never be the same again.
Meanwhile, Postal and Courier Services Association of Zambia President Gabriel Mumba has thanked the government for the gesture, saying the move will aid sector growth.
Thank you so much, Honorable. You are a listening government. And when the Minister of Finance read during the budget, we were all excited. And one of the things that I can assure you, Honorable Minister, that with this signing ceremony that has happened today, 2023, 3 things will happen in the industry. 1, the number of the registered courier companies. Currently, we are at 63. Those that are registered with ZECTA and with our members. I can assure you that 2023, the number will double.
Beatrice Chabaya, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Camnet Breakfast Show, and like I earlier alluded to, we have our guest in studio. He is Mr. Mwenye Musenge. He's going to help us discuss various issues pertaining to prescribing solutions to development needs, especially pertaining to how the current government is governing the country. And he is coming from a new political party which was formed sometime last year. It is called the Advocates for People's Prosperity. Mr. Mwenye Musenge is not new in the political scene, in that he has been there. He is among the founders of the National Democratic Congress, NDC, that was led by him and Chishimba Kambwiri, and now being at the center of controversy between George Sichula as well as Savoy Imbwela, and we have those factions in that party. But that is not our discussion for today. We are focusing at the Advocates for People's Prosperity. Mr. Musenge, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers.
We want to give you an opportunity to tell us a bit about your political party and what you stand for as the Advocates for People's Prosperity.
Well, Advocates for People's Prosperity is a new political party, and it is more centered on trying to see how we can help the marginalized in society. As you are aware, majority of our people in the country, majority of our people are sleeping on empty tummies. If there is anything that is killing our people in our country, it is hunger. It is a well-known fact that even when the people were going to vote in the 2021 elections, they were looking for a solution, hoping that the new Dawn government, the UPND, once they come into government, and more especially that there were so many promises that were being given during the campaign, they felt that they were the messiah for the marginalized in society. If you recall very well, we saw our young men and women wearing gowns, those who had graduated from the universities. We saw teachers in their suits with chalks. We saw a lot of activities. And for me, I believe that it was the youths, the majority of the youths in this country, who lifted the UPND on their shoulders to take them into government. But unfortunately, after forming government, we haven't seen much to try and alleviate the suffering of the most of these youths. Yes, indeed, we know of the 30,000 teachers that were employed against the background of over 150 or 200,000 trained teachers who have been left out. We are aware of 5,000 soldiers, trainee soldiers who are being employed against the background of over 200,000 who had applied. Even in the teaching, in the health fraternity, it is the same sad situation. Now, where we are coming up from is that as much as they are employing a few of these people that they are employing, we have the largest number that is being left out. What the government is not thinking or considering is, how are these youths, how are these people that are not in employment surviving? Where are they getting the food? And the truth of the matter is, most of these people are going hungry. They are sleeping on empty tummies. In frustration, they are finding most of their times in bar. The youths now, out of frustration, they are now doing illegal activities. And this is where we are coming in as advocates for people's prosperity, that we feel government needs to do more to alleviate the suffering of the majority. And apart from that, we have also noticed that over close to 60 years of independence, we haven't seen any wealth being manifested in the local Zambians. We see Somalians who come illegally into the country. Within a short space of time, they are big business magnates and they are employing Zambians. We are seeing Kenyans flocking into the... In short, I'm saying foreigners are coming into the country and they're the ones who are taking over the country. They're the ones who are making money. What about us, the Zambians? Where is the government?
Mr. Msanga, with this new political party, wasn't it going to be okay for you to join an already existing party? Are you saying there's no political party that shares your ideologies?
We feel there's no political party at the moment that shares the ideologies that we have really put together in APP. And these ideologies are not new. In fact, we started pushing for this. That was the essence of creating the NDC. But majority of my colleagues in there did not appreciate and understand the direction in which we wanted us to go. But I want to mention here that I don't think we have researched and we have looked at most of these political parties. There is no political parties that is sharing with us our sympathy for the poor majority in this country.
There has been topical issues in the country that would want to get your perspective as a political party. Topical among them is the issue of minimum prices and also the issue of fuel and the monthly review of fuel prices. What is your advice to the government? We are talking about prescribing solutions to the current social and economic challenges.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You see, the blame game should come to an end. Where you keep on saying, you know, it is Ukraine, because of the war in Ukraine and Russia, that is what has created all these problems. No, 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 no. We need to find our own solution. And I can tell you, the biggest challenge has been because Zambia has not unlocked the industrial network in the country. If you recall, in the Kaunda era, we had a very strong industry. There were a lot of companies that were producing goods and services. There were big companies that were employing. Okay? But now we are a consumer state.
Just hold your thought, we pick a call. Please don't forget what you were about to say. Hello, good morning.
Hello,
I'm quite much weekend. Tumatola kwa ishina na kwa mletu mina. Okay.
Right, tukutuma konkanya.
When I don't mind being I was disappointed. I'm saying, I'm politics in the church. Imagine today, Swami, Bostella, Swami, Station, which I'm going to Wunda at the breakfast in a expensive on Kabia and Guridola. So, no Marato, no Poverty, if you pay to Yaruta, Kabia and Kumajinga. That's what I tell you. How many battles Satamam? So now, name it in a short hospital. What is up to the Gunganga?
Fletch to Kanobuchikef.
Out to a papa, I'm going to go to more, say, what with them. So someone called the man numbers is so virtually alone. John City and Starlight, John Sen. The Chumbreno, Mama, what you're doing, the one of my politics, you know, it was Zambia, I don't know my politics. Can't follow my politics. Can't follow my politics. Ubunga my politics. Try my politics. The church allowed them to die. When they say, what is wrong with them? Say, the Maranda, we know Maranda. Na mwana kuna mgeze mtukuleji, kwa mgeze mtukuleji, inamana ya wa ukabia ni kumusa.
Thank you very much for your comment.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you. You too, our viewers there, in case you are just joining us, we're in conversation with Mr. Mwenya Musenge. You can call us and give us your perspective on the topic that we are discussing, among other issues that are happening in our country as we are discussing this.
You were on the aspect of Zambia being reduced to a consumer state.
Yes, and that is the biggest problem, because we are totally dependent on goods that are produced from outside the country. That has to be addressed, and my sincere appeal to our colleagues in government is to look at that, because once we open up most of these industries, one, we are going to produce our own food at a reasonable cost. Secondly, we are going to create employment for our people. The other part is this tendency, you know, this country is endowed with so many minerals in this country, and we have lost it. When we are supposed to be adding value to the minerals that we have in this country, all we do is mine and export. The emerald area, we have seen a lot of investors from outside the country who have made huge profits from there, and they have invested in their countries of origin. What have we benefited from the emeralds of this, the very rich emeralds of this country? Nothing, zero. We thought with the change of government, our colleagues in government were going to take it up upon themselves to nationalize the emerald area and put a team to try and look and see how we can salvage the little emeralds that have remained there and make money from there and see how we can help ourselves. Okay? Then apart from that, you are talking about manganese in Luapula. There is plenty of manganese in Luapula and in Mkushi. The bulk of that has been mined and exported as raw. We could have, you know, in Kaunda's time, he had reserved those deposits of manganese. They started a battery plant in Mansa. If he had wanted, he could have opened those areas for the export of manganese in its raw state. But he knew that this can be used in the future to add value to it. But what have we done? Everything is just being loaded on trucks and exported. Within the next 10, 15 years, there will be nothing to talk about. And Zambia shall continue wallowing in poverty.
What has gone wrong, Mr. Msenge? Because most of the sectors really, the people that we bring on set refer to the Kaunda area. It's like things were going on smoothly, but then over time, things have just backslidden to zero. What has gone wrong? What is the crop of politicians?
The mistake, the first mistake, the major mistake that was made was in 1991, after Kaunda left and we had the MMD.
Would you like to pick that call?
It's up to our guest.
Well, you can pick it up.
Let's pick that. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, thank you. Where are you calling from, and tell us your name?
I'm calling from Matero.
From Matero, all right.
You can go ahead for contribution.
Yes, I concur with the president for GTP. I saw that city, but I was born in that era, and I saw what transpired during that period. This is why this time around I was brief is because people ascending to power for reason, best thing not to save. We can give a good example of the current president. We haven't seen anything that he promised to the people of Zambia. He condemned what the history but he has made more things than his friends of the beginning. Exactly 1 year and 5 months. He has already made it. He has no chance to these people. Because this time around, I think if he was one who came to say he was going to come down and look at the economy as they say. I give kudos to Colonel. He's been on board. He formed the NDC for the reason, one reason that he wanted to say. Now, because such people, we look down on them, we can't support for them, or we cannot give them support. We want people who are issuing money, people who come and cheat. Those are the ones that are Zambians. So the problem is not politicians. The problem is us Zambians.
Yeah.
We don't know what we want. If we can help people like Honorable say, 4 or 5 people in this country, I think we can have what we want. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much for that call.
You can proceed.
Pick your thoughts on
Thank you. Thank you very much for those wonderful compliments. And indeed, this is what we are trying to look for. But getting back to what I was trying to say is, when our colleagues, the MMD, came into power, the first thing that they were looking at is privatizing. Privatization was not a bad idea. The essence was to try and attract foreign investors to come and pump in money into most of these companies and expand them, because they were actually running at a low level. Okay, unfortunately, there was greed amongst the Zambians, especially those who were in government in the MMD. They started selling those companies to themselves, and yet they did not even have the resource to pump in there. Okay, then we had this system of saying management buyout, workers buying a company. They were running that company, and the company had failed. Now they want to buy it as management buyout.
Sink it further.
Yeah, and that's what's happened. So the entire industry packed. Today, as we are speaking, as long as we do not bring up companies that can be able to produce and bring in foreign exchange into the country, the economy of this country cannot improve. If we ask ourselves, which company is actually bringing, how much export do we have at the moment? Because it is the amount of export to the imports that you have that will grow the economy of the country. You find that Nangma cornflakes you have to import. Of course, we are happy that Trade Kings is doing a wonderful job. They are doing a commendable job. If we had 3, 4, 5 companies of that magnitude, we'd be talking of something different. But it's not happening in our country. Now, our colleagues, again, they are focusing on, you are focusing on employing in government. So the teachers that you are employing, what are they producing apart from teaching? Of course, imparting skill in our boys and girls, that is important. But apart from that, what are we getting as a nation? Zero. Then there's so much focus on producing teachers in this country. We have so many colleges, and we have so many teachers that have been produced. And out of all these teachers, you come and discover that most of them, they will get their certificate or diploma or degree, and they will retire without even getting a job in government or working anywhere. Because even the private sector is also saturated. Okay? So when you come again to the doctor, previously, when you go to University of Zambia, you are assured of a job once you graduate. Whether you are an engineer, whether you are a teacher, Whatever field you went to pursue at the University of Zambia, they will follow you there and pick you up from there. But today that's not the case. We have so many graduates from the various universities that we have in the country. They are graduating from there. There are no jobs. Okay? So the government has to rethink. Why can't we come up with different programs in universities, in colleges, that will go towards production? This area is saturated, especially when you look at part education. Why don't we ask these colleges to start introducing certain programs that will take our people towards production? For example, in the agricultural sector. This is a sector that can grow the economy of this country. Zambia is endowed with a lot of water, but it is being mismanaged.
Okay, so just to take you back a little, when you talked about privatization, the aim was to bring in foreign investors.
Yes.
President Hakainde Hichilema has been going on various trips, which he
seeking
says
foreign investment.
Foreign investors are going to come in the country and invest, and other agreements have been signed. People have promised.
Is that the solution?
Yes.
You know, I was in government before.
Let's pick this call before you respond to that.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Hello.
Good
Hello,
morning.
good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Your name and where you're calling us from?
Well, my name is Walia Angel from Freedom.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Walia.
Yes, I wanted just to talk to Mr. Msenge. Good morning, Mr. Msenge.
Good morning, Mr. Wadia. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Thank you, my brother.
I like people like you, I'm saying, because you were once our minister here on the property house.
Yes.
Yeah. But my contribution was it touched a bit for the Fisher Emerald mine. Actually, for Ishibo correct, the Emerald mine, Emerald, that's a producer, which is the Emerald, it's more than even copper. And that emerald can contribute a lot for the finance to develop this country.
Yeah.
Now, our government will say it's a book. But we know that when there's quite a potential, but this country we have revamped but concentrate for the emerald.
That's very true.
And yes, then the other thing, I just want to be sure from previous government to the chair shufa, but it's a subsidized. Number, she couldn't, I am a government, there is a monster, like in a government, but what for you shall go share van, Mamma chair shufa. If you do not, because, fight to get to a report there, to allow to no, but any state what from Jamaica, what subsidized, pretty sure. At least to a penny in a cost because money is over to a penny in a palace. Please long take a profit sharing call. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much to you there. You too can have your say and give us a call or send us those text messages on this important conversation we're having this morning. You were about to respond to the question that was posed to you, Mr. Msenge.
On foreign investment.
On foreign investment, you have mentioned that the president has actually been making inroads, traveling, and we've heard a lot of people are now saying about President Warenda Ukasana. Well, I think I mentioned that I was in government also.
Yes.
I was at one time Deputy Minister of Defense, I was at Works, and I ended up being Provincial Minister for Copperbelt. And during that period, I noticed something that majority of these trips that we make outside, majority of these memorandum of understandings that we sign, they don't usually come to fruition. But when you look at the amount of money that you spend on foreign trips, so colossal. Okay? If we look at the governance of the late Meiso, rest in peace, of Magufuli, he made a point, he made a position that he was not going to be flying out of the country. He remained in the country and focused on developing his country. And none across Africa or in the region where we are doesn't know the amount of work that Magufuli did. And our current president had indicated that when we come into government, we shall go the Magufuli way. But what has happened? In, where is it, in Tanzania? We saw that they had to cut the spending on very expensive vehicles. The ministers were driving at least moderate vehicles, and they were told, if you want to buy a very expensive vehicle, buy it using your own money. They had promised us that when we come into government, we shall come and change all these things. What has happened? They went to the same shops, and they're shopping very expensive vehicles. We are forgetting that we are a third world country, a poor country for that matter. Certain expenditures are not supposed to be done. But this is what they're doing. We had expected a radical change in the governance of this country. But what are we seeing? These are our colleagues who were in opposition for 23 years, and we never saw them spending extravagantly, going to shops, showrooms, buying new vehicles and going for holidays and everywhere. 1 year, 6 months. This is what we are being shown. Yeah, traveling all over, spending all over. These are the people who told us there was no money in the coffers. They inherited an empty coffer. But their first budget, you've given 25 million kwacha CDF across board, 160, if I'm not mistaken, constituencies. Where is that money? Where did that money come from? Okay. So, unfortunately, it's like our colleagues were not ready for governance. For 23 years, all they mastered was to come and control the cadres. That's all. Have they really controlled? Have they really controlled? They tried from the beginning, but it is manifesting again. We are seeing in stations, the collection has started, their money is being collected and shared amongst themselves. So all those evil acts, again, are mushrooming. So I don't know where we are going at the moment.
Having been a person who's experienced, especially in these things, what advice would you give them, considering that you are seeing these them going contrary? You've been in government for a long period of time, Mr. Muse.
I think where we have missed it is where we feel when you are elected as a leader, then you become a master of the people. No. Leaders are supposed to be servants of the people.
All right, let's pick this call. Just hold your thought. Hello, good morning.
Morning, Honorable Secretary.
Good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
My name is
Okay. Did you pick the name?
Not at all.
Your name once again?
My name is Felix.
Okay. You can go ahead for contributions, sir.
Okay. We have a very serious problem in this country. And I don't think if the incident are up to the game, we are completely failed. One aspect which is completely failed is look at the fuel prices. You can't see the economy which the stability of the fuel prices nearly every month. Where on earth can a country adjust the fuel prices each and every month and expect to fix the so-called economy? Today the price is 27 kwacha. We were rounding about the people today. I was not being sure that any special is given. And you expect the economy to be improved. It can't. So these guys have failed. The only solution to our problems is to remove the UK in 2026 because there are no plan for this country. It's high time
2026
to govern themselves. Currently, I would say we are not being governed ourselves. We are being governed by IMF and these other Western people, because that's where the interest of the president is. He has no interest for government. We cannot be something like this. In one country, as a foreigner. So he has no interest at heart for government. His interest is with the Americans and these other guys from Western. So the only solution to our problem is to remove UKD in 2026. That's all. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Walia. There.
You can continue, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Where were we?
I can imagine.
yeah, there's so much.
We're talking about the whole promises that they made and the solutions that you're providing.
All these, So what we are trying to advise our colleagues is, first of all, I was actually trying to state here that we need to change the political, what term can I use? Because you see, there is that misconception that once elected, then you become a boss.
You change.
You change.
That's where we were.
Yes. You workers, I mean, the electorates, the people that elected you, who sent you to parliament, who sent you to that office at status, they now have to come anew before you. That is wrong.
But to the contrary, Mr. Msenge, this president has been a servant of the people. That's what he has proclaimed.
We haven't seen that. We haven't seen that, because if he has been, he should have been coming back to the people. When did he ever engage the Zambian people to listen to them? Because even these problems that we are having, if he's able to come to the people and say, countrymen, we have a crisis here. Because of this and that, we are going to encounter this load shedding for such and such a period. The people will listen. But if you turn your back against them, you don't tell them. All they see is today, the issue of fuel is now getting closer to 30 kwacha per liter. And I think Membe, President for SP, had earlier on, some months ago, indicated that why don't you simply tell us that the fuel will be around 32 kwacha and forget, you push a bit up, you come down, and when you go up, you go higher than what you reduced. I mean, it's not making logic at all. It becomes practically impossible for the companies to plan, for those who are in production to try and work out their projections. It becomes a problem. It becomes practically a problem. So our colleagues, truthfully speaking, as some of the callers are indicating, they have literally failed. Especially on the aspect of fuel, the issue of load shedding. When you look at ZESCO is a Zambian company. Who are supposed to benefit from there? If I have put up a company, I expect that I'm supposed to be getting dividend as the owner of the company. So the Zambians are supposed to be benefiting. But what is happening right now is that every now and then the tariffs are going up. So you are paying more. And the ZESCO cannot claim that they are not collecting enough money. Right now, they are collecting close to about 80%. Because they have this prepaid. So there is no date that they can talk about.
All right. We'll pick this call. Is Elijah.
Yeah, so you can proceed.
Just proceed.
Yes. So what we are trying to say here is our colleagues have to quickly, they are in government, would want to support them, but they should not expect us to remain quiet when things are not working.
But the argument under ZESCO, Mr. Msenge, has been that in order to attract foreign direct investment in the energy sector, there's a need to migrate to a cost-effective tariff. What would be your perspective on that?
No. You see, first and foremost, unfortunately, when you go to that tariff, the most hit are the owners of the companies, who are the Zambians. Okay? Meanwhile, there are companies like the mining sector is being given a considered rate, okay, or tariff, right? Now, what we are saying here is they should look at production. Whatever they are producing and exporting There they can get whatever they want to get. But when it comes to Zambians, they need to be cushioned. They need, that is the essence of putting up that power plant. Okay? If we are failing to get a better deal with Zambians, then what is the essence of having it there?
Does it make logical sense that you don't have enough, but you're still exporting?
Export, it doesn't make logical sense again. Here you are exporting, okay? And on the other hand, again, you are importing at a higher cost compared to what you are exporting. Is there any logic again? This is what we are seeing. So there is so much confusion in whatever is being done. And our sincere appeal to His Excellency the President is to take time to sit and look at this. This is the first political party that came into a formed government and became unpopular in less than 1 year. Because as we are speaking, UPND is totally unpopular in the country. There is no single person who is saying anything good about them. We are just asking them to quickly open their ears, open their eyes, and let them rethink. And let them drive the manifesto. There was the manifesto they were preaching to us as Zambians and telling us.
10-point plan?
Yes, the 10-point plan. That this is what's going to happen here. But
don't you think they are fixing it with CDA, with free education? Are you being unfair, Mr. Mse?
Are you being fair to
free education. Yes, we want free education. Now, you go to a class where you have 120 pupils.
Minister of Education says it's a good problem.
120 pupils in a class. How do you expect a teacher to attend to all those 120? They are fast learners and slow learners. How do you attend to them? And, you know, I went to Chilanga recently. I met one teacher who was telling me she was taking 3 classes. 120, 3 classes a day. So you are talking of 360.
Now, before we wind up our conversation this morning, Mr. Msenge, I want to get the perspective of the APP. People would argue to say, Mr. Msenge, did you deliberately not pay attention to address this issue while you were given an opportunity to serve in government, or you are becoming a saint now while in the opposition again under APP? This is when you are seeing these problems.
When I was in government, you know, first and foremost, we need to understand where I'm coming from. I went into politics because I started questioning myself. Where is the problem? That when people are elected and they go to parliament, they go to government, they tend to change. They tend to literally change and focus on self and not service to the people. I have stood out firmly as an example of how a leader is supposed to be. I have never been followed by anyone to say, because I went there to serve. And we want people who are elected and goes into government to focus on serving. Right now, my president, when he decided that he stands for that, he knew what is involved with that. One, he has rejected to go to State House, that I can't stay in such a house. Who does that? Right now, his movements from his residence community house to State House is becoming a talk of the day. For over 1 year, 6 months, how much is being spent by government to facilitate his movement to and from? We have now 2, although they are calling it community house, we are looking at 2 state houses. This one here, they have to provide all those services which are supposed to be there. Even at his residence as a president, now they have to provide all those services. Look at all that. Is it fair? And he's always driving around 8 hours. Who reports for work at 8 hours? What time is he going to reach at State House? When he's supposed to be setting an example by being there by 7:30. So there is a total congestion on the road. People are not moving and they're complaining. Okay? So some of these things have to be corrected. Let him show leadership. Let him show humbleness.
And move into State House.
He should move into State House because that job, when he applied for it, he knew that President take him State House. So why should he be so superstitious over nothing? Because that's what we are thinking. It is not right. It is not right.
Your concluding remarks, Mr. Mseng.
As you conclude, Mr. Mseng, also I want you to touch on your aspect as a party in terms of uniting the country. Yesterday we saw about 7 ministers speaking against tribalism because according to them it's increasing, you know. So what's your stance as a party in your concluding remarks?
In my concluding remarks, I want to mention first and foremost that we have come up with a APP and we are inviting people to come and share this vision that we have and see how we can work together to change this misconception, to change this wrong way of governing the country. And secondly, I want to mention here that I'm a student of the late Kambela Mazoka. He was a great leader. If God had allowed him to rule this country, I think things would have been in a better perspective than they are now. I'm a student of Michael Chilufya Sata. And again, I'm saying he had very little time to be president of this country. During that 3 years, we saw what he did in this country. Some of us have actually learned a lot from there and would want to continue where he left. Coming to the
unity.
Pardon?
Unity.
The unity in the country. Yes, when you are talking about, let us not smoke screen the issue of tribalism. Those who are in government are the ones who are supposed to lead by example. Right now we are talking about the appointments and the people that are being appointed in various portfolios, and you ask yourselves, you see for yourself that there is so much discrimination across tribe. You cannot question that. So for me, for anybody to say no, there is a, you know, we should stop talking about tribalism in this country when those who are in government are practicing it, that's being unfair. That's being unfair. We can be able to point out their appointments and all those people that they've sent in the foreign services. They are inclined towards certain tribes. So what are we talking about? Only a day before, is it 2 days ago, somebody insulted the members that they're idiots. He's a Lamba. We know that he's a Lamba. Study Mare. We know that he's a Lamba. He calls the members the stupid idiots. So you expect the members to remain quiet. And you expect that you are going to resolve the issue of tribalism when there are other characters who are insulting and you are not arresting them. Others are being arrested, others are not being arrested, simply because whatever they are saying supports yourselves. This is not going to help us. Indeed, we need to make sure that we come together as one people and remove this tribalism. But I think we are still a long way to reach that level, that stage. Tribalism exists and it shall continue existing. Nowadays, they are preaching it. Now, but preach. He cannot deny.
All right. Thank you so much to the viewers for joining us this morning. Join us again tomorrow for yet another exciting edition of The Breakfast Show. My name is Sharon Kalimula, and on the other chair is Patrick Soko. We've been in conversation with Mr. Mwenya Musenge. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll have another guest to discuss various important issues happening in our country